there, scrotum is there, vas deferens, seminal vesicle was there, prostate gland was there. Yeah. Which part of the male reproductive system produces the male sex, this male sex hormone or testosterone? Aisha hasn't joined yet, no? Yes, Naeem and Ibrahim. We did learn about various parts of the male reproductive organ. Like we did learn about scrotum. Yeah. We did learn about the scrotum, penis, urethra, prostate gland, seminal vesicle. Getting it? So just like the testis would be producing sperm, it would also be producing the testosterone. Okay. Yes, Aisha, how are you?
Fine, sir. Alhamdulillah. How are you, sir?
Yes, Alhamdulillah, I'm also good. Okay, so let us first of all understand what are the functions performed by this. Okay, now what function does it perform? First of all, the primary function of the testosterone hormone is sexual and reproductive development. Sexual and reproductive development. Getting it now? So, first thing is that in men, this hormone is responsible for bringing secondary sexual development. Secondary sexual development. What do I mean to say by this? When a child would be attaining the age of puberty, that is 17 years, 18 years, or 19 years, so two kind of changes by far would have happened in their body, particularly in the male. Like the release of the production of sperms would have started to take place, right? Another thing is that this testosterone would have lead to several secondary sexual development, like the growth of height, change in voice, increase of muscle mass, growth of hair on the faces, in the facial coming of facial hairs, growth of hairs in the armpit, in the pubic region, appearance of Adam's apple, that is the voice box or or the larynx, it swells because of swelling or because of the increase in size of the larynx. You get to see the Adam's apple, which is much visible in the case of women, but it is not visible in which is much visible in men, but not visible in women. Getting it? So it is responsible for bringing out different secondary sexual development. Secondary sexual development basically refers to growth of height and other things which I've mentioned, like the growth of hair, etc. Okay. Furthermore, this testosterone, it is also responsible for other things, like it is responsible for production of the red blood cells. So it signals the body to produce red blood cells. Got this, everyone? Okay, now?
Yes, sir.
That is one thing. Furthermore, it will be helping to maintain the bone density also. Right now, maintain the muscle mass also, and maintain the strength of the body also. Right? So it maintains bone density and muscle mass, and the muscle mass also. These are some of the important functions. Right now, these are some of the important functions. Okay. Furthermore, testosterone will be secreted in large amount in men. It will be secreted in large amount in the men, while it will be secreted in very less amount in the case of female body. Even in the case of female body, now, a small amount of testosterone is secreted in female body, but it is converted into other hormones. Getting it, everyone? It will be converted into other hormones like estrogen. Okay. So another important thing to be noted down is that testosterone is produced in a small quantity in female body, but is converted into estrogen. Okay, now it is produced in their body, but it is converted into estrogen. Earlier, I did told you that many female gymnast would be taking testosterone hormone. Not all of them, but some of them. Why? Because testosterone boosts the strength of the body. Okay, na? Getting it? Like a woman that takes testosterone, okay, na? Or let's say naturally her body produces high amount of testosterone. So thereby, that woman will be feeling much more energetic. Mass amount of muscle mass would be more, while fat would be very less in their body. Okay, now. So testosterone is produced in the body of a female, but it is converted into a hormone called as estrogen. That is the thing. Okay, now usually it's a misconception that testosterone is only produced in the male body, but it is produced in the female body also. But it is immediately converted into estrogen. So is all the important point related to testosterone clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. By the way, all of you turn your cameras on in the class. Do let me know that you guys are there in the class, sitting on your study room and not like sleeping somewhere or sitting on your couch. Okay, good. Now let us understand the structure of the sperm cell. Okay, now the sperm, what is it? Basically, the sperm. Yes, it's the
Gamete.
Male or female gamete.
Male gamete.
It's the male gamete.
Good. The sperm is the male gamete. Let us understand the structure of the sperm. So the body of the sperm, the structure of the sperm is divided into three parts: the head, the middle piece, and the tail. Okay, now. So the first of all, try to get to know that the testis or the testicles, it would be secreting millions of sperms at a single time. It secretes millions of sperms. Millions of sperms would be produced by the testis, right? A sperm would be comprising of a single. It's a single cell. Okay, now it's not a multi-cell thing. It is just made up of one cell. Getting it, everyone? So a
Yes, sir.
sperm is a single cell. The body is divided into three parts. The body is divided in three parts. Let us understand what are the functions performed by the different parts of the body. First of all, talking about the head. Okay, look over here. The main part of the head that we have to discuss is its nucleus. Okay, now? So head would be containing the nucleus, and nucleus will contain the DNA. Right now, getting it, guys? So this will contain all the necessary information from the male parent, like different kind of information will be locked in this nucleus. Okay, now all the different physical characteristics of the male parent, like how the hair looks like, whether it is straight or curly, the kind of ears they have, whether it is attached or hanging ear, the body hairs, like that, the skin color. hmm. So various physical characteristics, now all its information will be kind of locked in this nucleus. Getting this, what I'm trying to say? Okay. So nucleus will contain DNA. DNA basically has all the necessary informations of the male parent. Getting this now? Okay. That is it. So head, it contains the nucleus, and nucleus contains the DNA. It contains the DNA. Just allow me to show one image to you guys so that you get one idea about how the structure of the nucleus look like, where the DNA is present. Okay, now. Okay. Now let us, with the help of this diagram, let us try to understand the structure of the nucleus. Okay. So this is the nucleus, the rounded structure that you see over here. Okay. Now inside this whole circular structure that you see over here, what is it? This is nucleus. Okay. Now this is the nucleus. Now inside the nucleus, you can observe there are various thread-like structures. Thread-like structures are present over here, like these thread-like structures that are called as chromosomes. That are called as chromosomes. Furthermore, one chromosome have been zoomed out. One chromosome have been zoomed out, and you see that. Furthermore, we get to see that in the chromosomes, DNA are present. This is a chromosome over here. Inside the chromosome, DNA is present. Getting it? So we have a cell. Inside the cell, we have the nucleus. Inside the nucleus, there are thread-like structures. What do we call those thread-like structures as? We call them as chromosomes now. Okay, so far clear? And chromosomes, within the chromosomes, DNA are present. Okay, there's another important thing. The DNA will contain the genes. What do we call them as? Genes, Genes. Is this clear? Did you guys got this idea of where the nucleus, the chromosome, the DNA, and the gene are found?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right? So let me just repeat it again. That in the human body, genes are found in the chromosomes, and chromosomes are found in the nucleus of the cells. Right now, that is the main thing over here. Also, chromosomes are basically thread-like structures, as we have seen, or long strands of basically DNA. Basically, okay, no? Okay. Also, DNA will further contain genes. Okay, and genes or DNA or chromosomes. All of these things now we together call them as genetic materials. What do we call them as? Genetic materials. Genetic, genetic materials. So I suppose that much should be clear to everyone. Okay. Now talking about the role of the head. The head contains the nucleus. Nucleus contains DNA and chromosome and gene. All of these are basically genetic materials, and these genetic material would be containing all the information from the male parent. So once the process of fertilization would be taking place now, guys, once the fusion takes place now, there what we observe that only the head of the sperm would be entering into the ovum. This is the ovum. You see the 1, 2, and 3. These are the three different parts of the sperm now. Only the head would be entering into the ovum. And also look at the compare the size of the ovum in the sperm. The sperm is very small as compared to the ovum, right? So the only head will be entering, while the function of the middle part and the tail would only be limited to providing the sperm with energy and locomotion, allowing it to move. Getting it now? Okay. I would require one extra page over here. Now let us understand the next part, the middle part. Okay. Now in the middle piece, in the middle part of the sperm cell, we have a important cell organelle called as mitochondria. I suppose some of you would be aware that this is called as powerhouse of the cell also, right? Forget about this sperm cell for a moment. Like any cell in our body where respiration would be taking place. So in the cells of our body, respiration actually takes place inside the mitochondria. Mitochondria is kind of the kitchen of the cell where the production of the food is taking place. Okay, not production of the food, I would say, but rather the breakdown of the food is taking place. So mitochondria has been called as kitchen of the cell where energy is obtained from the food. Getting it, guys? So it is called as powerhouse. So whatever energy is required by this sperm cell in order to move, So this will be provided by the mitochondria. So they are responsible for producing the energy in the cells. So hence, sperm would be using the energy produced by the mitochondria to move. So that much should be clear to everyone, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
What happened to this? Okay. Also, you guys have been preparing the notes or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm thinking what I will do now. I will make a what? How can I share the notes with you guys? Mm, I will share the link of Google Drive with you guys. From there, you can access the notes of the chapters which we have done so far. Okay, that will be better. That would be helping you guys in revising the topics. Although the notes would only be helping you, be only serving as a reference material. Okay, na? While revising, you guys can take help of the notes, but make sure that you are preparing your own notes also. Okay. Also, you guys update me with your exam syllabus. Like for Ibrahim, your syllabus have been completed. Aisha, this is the only chapter that is remaining for your upcoming syllabus now.
Yes, sir.
Rest all the chapters have been finished. Okay. And Naeem, what about you? Any update regarding your exam syllabus?
So, I told the syllabus to you. That's all the syllabus,
Okay, okay.
and
You
I
told
don't
me.
know the dates.
Okay.
I don't know the dates of the exams.
Okay, okay. Whenever you get it, do let me know about that. Okay, no?
Okay, sir.
Also, I'm just circling this because it is not directly related to sperm. Okay, thereby I'm circling this. Okay, like it's not part of what we're discussing, but rather it is important to know like the setup of the nucleus, like where DNA is present, where chromosome is present. Okay, no? So talking about the middle piece. So which cell organelle was present in the middle piece? Which structure was present? Yes.
So it's the mitochondria.
Okay, okay. It's mitochondria, by the way. Okay, no? It's mitochondria. Hmm. So middle piece is basically the central part. It is the central part between tail and head. Between the tail and head, that's the location, that's the structure of it. Furthermore, it contains mitochondria. Mitochondria, DRIA. What is another name? What is the common name of mitochondria?
Powerhouse.
Powerhouse of cell. Powerhouse of cell. Why is it called so? Why do we call mitochondria as powerhouse of the cell?
Because it gives the sperm energy.
It would be basically producing the energy which sperm would be utilizing right now. Okay. So it produces the energy. So how energy will be produced? As you guys would have learned about respiration in your previous classes. Huh? Respiration in the process is the process which is carried out by the mitochondria in the cell. Now, like you have a cell, you have a mitochondria like this. For example, this is a mitochondria. Inside the mitochondria, the food is broken down with the help of oxygen to give out energy, carbon dioxide, and water. Right? And this is a chemical energy which is stored in molecules, like it is stored in ATP molecules, adenosine triphosphate. It is stored in ATP molecules, and ATP is called as the energy currency of the cell. Getting it now? Like just like you exchange goods using currency, similarly the energy will be stored in the form of ATP molecules inside the cell. So ATP is called as energy currency of the cell. So it will be producing the energy. So can't we say that it is basically producing the ATP molecules? ATP molecules would be stored in it. It can store. It can utilize those molecules. It is just like a bundle of money. For example, you have a bundle of money. You can keep on using a small amount of money whenever you require it. Whenever you have to purchase some goods or you have to acquire some services. In the same manner, lots of ATP molecules would be kind of produced, and one after another will be utilized by the cell wherever it will be needing it. Getting it? The reference I'm trying to make, like how it is called as energy currency.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So ATP is produced. It produces the ATP, which is used by sperm for movement. So that's all about the middle piece. Right after this, we have the tail of the sperm. Okay, no? Tail of the sperm is present over here. So talking about the tail is elongated. It is quite long. It is a thin structure. And if you were to look at the total length of the body of the sperm, na, it will make about 80%. Okay. Like to put it into perspective, let's say if the sperm cell were to be, let us say that 10 micrometer, now let us say it's 10 micrometer. So out of that, 8 micrometer will be the length of tail. Rest 2 micrometer will be the length of middle piece and head. Getting it now? So 80% of the length of the sperm is basically comprised by the tail. Hope that is clear.
Yes.
So talking about the tail, it is a thin, elongated structure that makes up about how much percent of the body? 80% of length of a sperm, of the length of a sperm. So hope that much is clear. Talking about its function. See, you all know about whip now. Like what is a whip? You guys know what is a whip? And you would have seen how the whip would be moving. Like earlier it was used for punishment. Like it's what was used as kind of a weapon or a kind of a tool used for punishing the people. If someone has done some crime, so they would be punished with a whip. Getting it now? You see how the tail of the whip moves? How the tail of the whip moves? Getting it what I'm trying to say? You all would have seen like how when you would be flinging the whip in the air, how the tail would be moving. Similar to that, the tail of the sperm would be moving. So it would be moving kind of back and forth in a whip-like motion, and that helps the sperm to move forward. So the tail it does a whip-like movement to help the sperm move. I suppose it should be clear. Okay. So it will be kind of propelling the sperm towards the egg. It would be kind of propelling the sperm toward the eggs. So by doing a whip-like movement, the tails would propel the sperm towards the egg. It will be kind of propel the sperm towards the egg. So hope that is clear. If anyone happens to have any doubt in the structure of the sperm, please do let me know. Get your doubts clear. Don't leave it for some other time. Otherwise, you guys would be getting confused.
Sir,
Yes.
my ma'am told that there will be millions of sperm going to the ovum. There will be only 2 sperms will be going to the ovum. What about the rest of the millions?
See, Out of the million sperm cells produced by the testis, only one or in some cases two of them will be able to fertilize the ovum. Only usually one of them would be fertilizing. Getting it now? But in certain cases, two of them can fertilize the eggs and thereby will lead to birth of twin babies. Anyways, coming back to the main question, what happens to other sperm cells would simply die. Other sperm cells would be simply dying. Getting it now? Like
Okay,
in
sir.
just 1 second, in 1 second, the testis can produce about 1500 sperm cells. Okay, now like why the penis, once the semen has been released, so right after once the semen has been released, right after that the testis can produce about 1500 sperm cells in just 1 second. Okay, that is one thing. Okay, so hope it is clear so far. Now next we are going to discuss about the female reproductive organ. Okay, now we are going to talk about female reproductive organ. All of you first of all observe the diagram over here. Just observe the ones that I'm going to highlight. Okay. Just 1 minute, let me just clean out these things over here. Okay, talking about the female reproductive system. Female reproductive system would be basically it has parts that is part of the female body that will be present below the lower belly, okay na, and between the pelvis. So looking at the reproductive system of the female body, it will be having following parts. Like it would be having vagina, it's the vagina, cervix is there, ovary is there, fallopian tube is there, this one also fallopian tube. Then you have the uterus, or also called as uterine cavity. Basically this is the uterus. This is the uterus, this one empty area, this area that you see over here, that is the uterus. Okay, let's study about them one after another. Okay, the female reproductive organ, talking about its function, the main function of the female reproductive system is to provide the eggs, provide the sperm, provide the ovum, that is the female gamete, for the purpose of fertilization. Okay, now for the purpose of fertilization. So first of all, you guys are going to start learning from here. First of all, we're going to learn about ovary. Okay, how many ovaries can we spot here? There are
Two.
how many? Two ovaries are there. Good. So by birth, every female would be having two ovaries unless someone suffers from some disability. Okay. So right now we're going to talk about ovaries, and let us understand what is the function of the ovary. Okay. So the ovary, its main function would be to produce ovum. It would be to produce ovum. Now remember, in the previous classes, I have told you that once a female child is born, ovary starts to produce ovum. I mean to say ovum would be present. Okay, now like females, when the female child is born, ovum would be present in the ovary. But at that time, the ovums are not mature. It's not full grown. Getting it now? Also, at birth, no, the normal female ovary will contain about 1 to 2 million eggs. How many? About 1 to 2 million egg cells would be present in the ovary once a female child is born, right? Getting it? But as they grow older, the number of these eggs would be decreasing each month. Getting it what I'm trying to say? So every month, the number of ovums in the ovary would be decreasing. So until they reach the age of puberty, a significant amount of would have decreased. Right now, like about 25% of total egg or total ovum would have only remained. Getting it now? So that is one interesting thing. Hope you guys are getting it. So at birth of a female child, about 1 to 2 million ovum are there. Okay, na? Are there. Gradually, it decreases to just 25% when they reach puberty. Okay. And the very first thing, as we know, that this is the female gamete. Female gamete, also called as egg cells. Also called as egg cells. Okay. So the primary function of the ovary is to produce the female gamete, that is the ovum. That is the sorry, not this one actually. I got confused in this a little bit. This is actually the part of organ now. The egg would be the ovum will also be called as egg. Okay. So the female reproductive system will comprise of a pair of the ovary, a pair of ovaries is found in the female body, in the female reproductive system, right? And they are the male female sex they are the this ovary is the male female sex organ that is responsible for production of female gametes, that is ovum. Okay. Also, this ovary will also be producing some female hormones like estrogen and progesterone. Okay, now so we'd be learning about the role of estrogen and progesterone. We'll be learning about this topic also, like what is the function, what function do they perform. So right now, so far, it should be clear what is the function performed by ovary. Its main function is to produce ovum. Okay. Also, once they reach the age of puberty, now at puberty, one egg or ovum out of any ovary is released every month. Is released every month from it. Okay. Getting this so far? Then talking about a hormone that will be the hormones that will be produced by the ovary. They are mainly two hormones, namely estrogen and progesterone. These are the hormones produced by it. And over here, you are looking at the diagram of a ovum. Okay, now this is not estrogen and progesterone. This is the diagram of a ovum. Just let me write this over here. The figure is ovum or egg cell. If you were to look at the structure, it will contain nucleus, it will contain cytoplasm, namely. Okay, it will contain nucleus and cytoplasm. Plasma membrane will also be found in it, etc. Other things are not important. This isn't important. Neither is this important. Okay. Talking about the female sex hormone that is also produced, female sex hormone is also produced, that is namely estrogen, and the other one is progesterone. Just like you guys have learned that the testis or testicles should be producing testosterone, in the similar manner, this ovary, apart from producing ovum, it produces the sex hormone called as estrogen and progesterone also. It is important that you get to know their functions, what functions are performed by them. Talking about estrogen and progesterone, these are the hormones that play some important roles in regulating the reproduction in females, like bringing about puberty, bringing about menstruation. In at times of pregnancy, it will be released. So they are important for the fertility of the female body, also responsible for the sex drive as well. Okay, now urge for sex. So just like you have learned, like testosterone is responsible for bringing about secondary sexual characteristics. Like there you learned about increase in height, growth of muscle mass, growth of facial hairs, hairs in the armpit, etc. In somewhat similar manner, these hormones will also be responsible for bringing about secondary sexual characteristics, particularly the estrogen. Are you guys getting it? What I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Let me just sum it up the function of both of them. Okay, now. So estrogen, it is the hormone that will be regulating the menstrual cycle. Okay, now it regulates the menstrual cycle. We'll be learning about this after some time. Okay. Talking about progesterone, it is the hormone that will be mainly released in case of pregnancy, and it will be supporting the pregnancy. It's a hormone that brings about various changes in the female reproductive system of the body that is important while pregnancy. And while pregnancy, now both of these hormones will be working together. They both of them will be working together. So it is responsible for pregnancy. Okay, no? Hope so far it is clear. Talking about the general function performed by them. Okay, talking about the general function that will be performed by them would be mm, talking about estrogen and progesterone in a general sense. Like they would be helping in puberty also. If I were to talk about the common function performed by them, they would be helping in bringing about puberty. Just like the testosterone will be bringing about puberty in the male child, so these hormones will be bringing about puberty in the female child. Like all the physical changes that takes place, the psychological changes that takes place in the female body, like the growth of muscle mass, in hair, growth of hair in the pubic region and the armpits, widening of the waist, growth of breast, all those changes will be brought upon by these hormones. So just let me take one more slide in order to complete this thing. So these hormones are also responsible for bringing puberty in females. Okay. Is that much clear to everyone? Yes. Is that much clear? If anyone happens to have any question, please do let
Yes,
me know.
sir.
Okay, now let us understand about the various parts of the female reproductive organ. So ovary we have learned. Okay, it is situated over here. By the way, have a look at this diagram. This one is comparatively more simpler. That will be helping you to understand it a simple way. So this is the ovary over here. I have to clean this one as well. Just 1 minute. Now, once in a month, one ovum will be released from any of the ovary. Either this one or either this one would be released. Either this one, what happened to this? Yeah, either this one or this one would be releasing one ovum once in a month. Let's say it is being released by this ovum, by this ovary, I mean to say. So this is a ovum, right? So ovum would be going all the way from here and from here and from here. Okay. So this tube-like structure that you see over here, no, this is called as fallopian tube. This is called as fallopian tube. Okay. And this fimbriae, that is this is a structure that is present over the ovary. It will be receiving the incoming ovum. It would be receiving the ovum. Getting it? So talking about the fallopian tube, this is a funnel shaped structure, as you can see. Can't you observe like this is a funnel shaped structure, like having a structure kind of like this? Funnel is also shaped like this, no? Yes, everyone. Funnel is also kind of shaped like this. I have a inverted shape of funnel. I have inverted it. Getting it now? So it's a funnel shaped structure that is extending from the superior right side of the uterus. Okay, like this is the right side of the uterus now. So it is extending from the upper right side of the uterus and the left corner of the uterus. Getting it now? So it is present over here. So ovaries, as we know, releases one egg every month into these fallopian tubes. So fallopian tubes should be carrying it. Furthermore, as if I were to zoom it out, all the structure is not present. But you know, like you guys know about cilia, CILIA. This is something which you would have learned about
No,
in the
sir.
previous classes. No, haven't you
No,
guys
sir.
haven't learned about it in the small intestine? The finger-like projections present in the small intestine.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that increases the surface area for absorption.
Yes, sir.
So actually, there would be lots of finger-like projections here also, like this. Now these cilia will actually help in the movement of the ovum. What do they do? They help in the movement of the ovum in the fallopian tube. That is what the function of the cilia would be here. That these cilia would be helping in carrying the ovum from the ovary all the way up to here. Okay, now how it happens, it is really not important as of this standard. Okay. So far it's clear what's the function of fallopian tube. Hope you guys have understood this. Another thing to be
Yes.
noted down is that this fallopian tube is also called as oviduct. Duct is referring to a tube-like structure. A tube-like structure is being called as a duct. Ovi here refers to ovum. Okay, now Ovi here refers to ovum, while duct refers to a tube-like structure. So you can understand why it is being why it's having this name. Okay. All right then. Now then, talking about this sac-like structure, that is this uterus, this structure that is over here now. This is called as uterus. Let me just mark it. All this area that we see, this is the uterus. Okay. So let us understand what is the function of this. So this uterus here is a organ that its main function would be to allow the development of the egg into a human baby. Allow the development of the egg into a human baby. Getting it? Furthermore, you see that this uterus opens into or connects into a opening called as cervix. Getting it? This uterus is opening over here, and this opening of the uterus is being called as cervix. And cervix further connects to another opening called as vagina. So far, it's clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Now, talking about the uterus, like how the development of the baby will be taking place here. Once the ovum will be fertilized, like as the sperm would be coming from the vagina, as the sperm comes into the vagina, and then as it goes into the cervix, and then finally goes all the way into the uterus, and as it reaches the fallopian tube. Let me use a different color. As it reaches into the fallopian tube. So in the fallopian tube now, from one side the sperm is coming, from the other side ovum is there. Ovum and sperm. And if the fertilization takes place, if the ovum is fertilized in the fallopian tube or the oviduct, then this ovum would further go down into the uterus. What will happen? Now this will further go into the uterus. It goes into the uterus, and in the wall of the uterus, it will be embedded. Like over here, it will be embedded. Getting it now? It will be embedded. So this is something we should be learning after some time. But first of all, let us complete the different parts which we have studied so far. Let us sum it up, the different things that we have studied. Okay. Later on, we'll be learning about how the growth of the baby will be taking place. What is placenta? What is umbilical cord? Huh? You guys observe this thing, like this is the size of the uterus over here, and look at the size of the uterus once the baby starts to grow. This right now. So you will see that it expands now. The size of the uterus, it has to expand in order to accommodate the size of the baby. Right. Remember, we did talked about the progesterone hormone, right? I think you guys are not getting it. Ibrahim not getting it. Naim, Aisha, getting confused in the topics. Honestly,
Yes, sir.
tell me, have you understood so far everything?
No, sir.
No. Okay, what about others? Naim, you?
Same.
Same,
It's like
okay.
confusing.
Kind of confusing, na? Okay, okay. Let me just sum it up for you guys once again. See, just let me put my iPad on charge, otherwise it will turn off. Give me a minute, let me charge it, okay? I will be back in a minute. Let me grab the charger. Okay. Okay, just wait for a minute. I will be sharing my screen in a minute, okay, no? Meanwhile, you guys answer some questions rather than sitting idle. I would be asking some questions to you guys. I will get back to this topic. Let me just take one important thing over here. Okay, you guys tell me what were the important parts of the male reproductive organ which we have studied about.
The testes,
Okay,
uh,
Tottenham.
okay.
the pituitary gland,
Pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is not part of the male reproductive organ. It's just a gland, and it controls the amount of testosterone that will be secreted.
yes, sir.
Testis.
Testis and
Penis.
repeat again.
Pen-
Okay, good. And
Vas deferens,
vas deferens, good.
seminal vesicle,
Seminal vesicle, very good. Very good. And
scrot,
which one?
scrotum,
Scrotum. Okay, good. Scrotum is there.
Pubic bone.
Repeat again.
Pubic bone.
Pubic bone. No, Aisha, there isn't any such structure in the male reproductive organ. No. Are you talking about the pelvis bone?
Yes, sir.
No, that doesn't form part of the reproductive organ. No. Okay, now the pelvis bone is present in the female body as well. Although in the female body, the pelvis bone is much stronger as compared to the male body. You know why? Like in the it is because of the pregnancy now. It kind of expands during the time of pregnancy, and it's much stronger. The pelvis bone is much stronger in the case of female body. Okay,
the testicle,
the testicles, good.
urethra,
Urethra, good. By the way, the urethra, no, it is part of one more. It is one more part of one more system in the human body. Can you tell me
prostate,
which one?
prostate,
Your prostate gland is there. Good. Talking about urethra, it also
penis,
forms. Repeat again.
penis,
Okay, penis. That is also there. talking about the question which I asked now, the question was about this. The urethra also forms part of the urinary system of the excretory system also. Okay, now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Duct.
Sperm duct.
Yes, sir.
Good. Sperm duct. What is the another name for sperm duct?
Ejaculatory duct.
We can say that, but we have another term. Anyone? We have
Vast
one more.
difference.
Vast difference. Okay, now good. Vast difference. Okay, I will be sharing my screen right now. Just give me one more second. I'm trying to help you guys understand this with the help of one animation actually. Okay, now. Okay, also do tell me about the role of seminal vesicle and prostate gland. What functions would be performed by them? You guys can divide topics among yourself, like one of you speak about seminal vesicle, one of you explain about prostate gland, or one of you explain about this one, about the urethra. Yes, come on, one of you start answering it.
So can you tell the topics one more
Okay, the
time?
topic was to explain the function of either urethra, either seminal vesicle, or either prostate gland. Yes,
Urethra is responsible for transportation of both urine and sperm.
very good, very good. Okay, I'll be sharing my screen now. Okay, what about seminal vesicle and prostate gland? Others answer, as Aisha has explained this one. Yes. Quickly explain it. We have to learn about this one also. We have to complete this one. Okay, I can give one hint. Like one of them forms about 1/3 of the content of the semen.
So semivesicle
Prostate fluid.
contains
Repeat again.
Prostate fluid contains 1/3.
Exactly. Good. Okay, and which one of them would be providing nourishment to the semen to the sperm?
Seminal vesicle.
Seminal vesicles.
seminal.
Very good. Okay. Let's get back to this topic. So right now what we are seeing that we see over here the ovary is there, right? These structures are the ovary over here. Okay. Now once in a month, one of the ovary would be releasing a egg. The egg will go into this oviduct. Getting it? Furthermore, it will travel further. It will travel up to here. And this whole tube-like structure is being called as, either we call them as oviduct, or we also call it as fallopian tube. So far clear? Up to here, it's clear? Right? This is the ovum. This is a mature ovum, in fact, mature ovum that is released once in a month into the fallopian tube. Okay. After this muscular structure that you see over here now, it has a thick wall, and this muscular structure that is called as uterus. This is uterus. Okay. Before that, also pay attention to this, that there's a pair of ovary and there's a pair of fallopian tube. Two fallopian tubes are present, one on the left and one on the right. One on the left, one on the right. Okay. And this is uterus. Furthermore, the uterus opens into this opening. This opening of the uterus, and the one where I'm pointing, that is called as cervix. This is called as cervix. Furthermore, the cervix opens into another wide opening called as vagina. Okay, now while that is vagina. Okay. So far it's clear to everyone now?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Good. Okay. Now what are we saying moments ago? Talking about the primary function of the uterus, what its function is now. First of all, have a look at this image. This whole area that you see over now, okay, now this was basically uterus. This is basically uterus. Okay, now. So what happens once the sperm would go into this? Like once the sperm would go into this now, so sperm will travel all the way into the fallopian tube. The sperm will travel